Boomer Sooner.
Handoff up the middle, easy like Sunday morning, touchdown.
This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. Also brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Walden Cleaners. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner. Here are your hosts, Chris Plank and Gabe Ikard.
Welcome inside the Coach's Corner. OU Ole Miss coming up on Saturday. Let's preview it, shall we, over the next hour, along with Gabe Ikard. I'm Chris Plank. Say hello to Sooner offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. Coach, welcome back. Good to have you back.
It's great to be back. Thank y'all for having me.
Love chopping it up with you.
It's great to have you back.
Oh, come on.
It is great.
We got a lot to talk about. I think a long way to go and a short time to get there. So let's start with your quarterback. Good to see Ben Arbuckle. Good to see John Mateer back, playing confident. How'd you feel about his performance on Saturday?
I thought John was really solid. You know, I thought everything from his feet to his eyes, where the ball was going, his command, his communication, his leadership. I thought it was a great week of practice he had leading up to the South Carolina game, and everything that he did from a preparation standpoint, a practice standpoint, really seemed to translate. Didn't make the wrong decisions really a lot. Hardly at all. I can't even think of one that just comes to mind. And so just proud of the way that he attacked the week, especially from the week before, and just says a lot about him, his character, and his competitive spirit.
What did you think about, and this is a very specific question, but I thought his ball placement, whether it was Satania to Burks, that allowed those guys to spin out of things and go get some yards after the catch. I thought his ball placement was as good as it's been all season long on some of those throws. He was really accurate on the RPO stuff at the line of scrimmage. That was just really encouraging to see him get back to that level of accuracy.
No doubt, and it's huge. It's huge for those guys catching the ball, just because you want to put them in position to be successful and give them the best amount of space operationally to go out and make a play. And I think you're spot on. I thought he was really good with his ball placement, whether it was on a third down option route or even just something as simple as, you know, that play that's playing right there, just putting it kind of on the back shoulder, knowing that we're going to score, but just so Isaiah doesn't have to take a big hit whenever he goes into the end zone.
It's a great ball.
So, you know, he was really sharp all day. And again, it just came from practice. He took a real self look at what he needed to do to be better, and I think ball placement was one of them, and we stressed it all week, and he went out and executed that.
Just practice, timing, what is it that really helped improve that in your eyes more than anything else?
I think it's just intentionality to it, just not, you know, and John's not one to just go through the motions, but just overemphasizing my footwork on this, overemphasizing the ball placement, because something so small can create something so big. And he was really good with that all week, but it was just emphasizing those things, and so that was huge.
I know the run game hasn't been as good as y'all want it to be, but it got going against South Carolina. In your mind, what were the keys to getting your guys' run game making it more efficient?
I mean, I think the first part is always us coaches trying to put them in the position to be successful, give them the schemes, one, that'll give us an advantage in one way, shape, or form against the defense, and two, what are our guys good at? But really, it just comes down to the kids and how they played, it was a violent week of practice, you know, whether it was going against the defense or going against the scouts or we're an inside run. It was a very violent week of practice, and it was a great tone setter to the game for the mindset and mentality that we had to have to go in there. So it was all the kids. It was the running backs running hard. Offensive line was firing off the ball, and it wasn't always perfect, but there's always something about whenever you're playing really, really hard, usually good things happen. And so credit to those kids. They're the ones who really went out there and made it happen.
We got to see Torrey Blaylock getting a little more space.
Yeah.
SEC Freshman of the Week. How much fun was it to see Torrey go out and have that type of performance?
I mean, it was a lot of fun, but it was just something that you know is there. You know that
Right.
has been there. And because we get to see it all throughout camps and throughout practice. But you know, he had a one cut mindset and got downhill, and he was really tough to take down. That was the big thing that myself and Coach Murray, we stressed with those running backs all week, was just be really hard to tackle. It doesn't have to be perfect.
That's good advice.
But just be really
honestly.
hard to tackle. Because so many times, you watch college football, and so many times you see people making arm tackles or, maybe just falling for one. We really stress to them, be really tough to take down. Just be really, really tough to take down. And those guys, they embodied that, and they played really well because of it.
So I would say thunder and lightning with the power of Xavier Robinson, but Torrey Blaylock, I mean, he's not afraid to run over a guy.
No.
With that in mind, seeing X get a little bit more involved, I think he had the same yards per carry as Torrey Blaylock did as well too. Not as many carries, but good to see him healthy. Good to see him involved. I mean, that's a kid that's got unlimited potential in X.
100%. He's talented, and his skill set and his traits make him such a tough matchup for a lot of different reasons. I mean, he is explosive, he's powerful, he's a smart kid. But then you think about other aspects of it that didn't really even show up much in this game, maybe once or twice, but out of the backfield, he has such soft hands. He has a great catch radius. He's so strong in his lowers. I mean, that run right there just kind of shows it.
He stole the ball from Mateer there.
Exactly. But even just right there, you see he made contact 5 yards right there and ended up getting 5 more yards stumbling forward. Like, he's really good at finding that hidden yards right there. I wish he would have, drop step and got vertical a little bit faster, but he's so tough to take down, and he's really good at finding hidden yardage, the extra yard or 2 or 3 on a run that is really important in a drive and really important in a game.
I thought you guys did a really good job of setting your tight ends up for success as blockers in the run game. And a guy that stood out to me, Caden Helms is starting to find it a little bit. I know that this guy has battled injuries his entire career here, but it really seems like he's starting to find a rhythm and is going to be a big factor for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, whenever you talk about players who are fun to coach, Caden's one of those. And one of those because you spoke on, I hadn't been here his entire career, but I know he's been riddled with different injuries here and there. He broke his hand during fall camp and had a big old club on. And just seeing him persist through the face of challenges and then get healthy and just have fun playing football, have fun being out at practice, straining through the echo of the whistle out at practice. Like, it's not like just luck that he went out there and played well and did really good things for us. He's kept a great mindset throughout everything, and he brings it every day in practice. And so he's a kid who's really fun to see, fun to coach, and he loves being out there. And so Caden Helms, yeah, he had a great week, great game against South Carolina, did a lot of really good things. But he's just been stacking days in practice, so that's been fun.
Opening segment, as always, is brought to you by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. One final thought here, since we're talking about the running game, the success of the running backs, and obviously what Caden Helms did. How about overall on the tight end? We saw Derek Simmons show up back on the injury report. Logan Hallen's trying to get right, but to have those 5 guys together for a couple of games seems like they're starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, offensive line is such a developmental position whenever you talk about individually, but it's also a very developmental position whenever you talk about the whole of a unit, because the cohesion and chemistry it takes to play that position and the consistency that you hopefully can have in that position comes from playing a lot of snaps together. I'm sure you knew exactly what your left guard was going to do.
I tried. I hoped I knew.
Exactly.
You hope you know.
But the more and more you play with him, the more and more you know him, you know his game, and y'all have worked all these different situations together. And so the more those guys can play together, the better. And, Coach Biedenbaugh's constantly, out at practice, it's hard to achieve perfection, but he's always demanding it. And the more you can demand that and the harder you play, the more good things happen. And so I'm really proud of that group.
I'm curious, how do you balance getting that chemistry, right,
Yeah.
working together, but also getting some other guys reps, getting those younger guys reps too if you want them? What's that process like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be artful at practice
Ooh,
and in games. It's, hey, maybe today we get so-and-so in there during inside, just so he can get some really, really good live action reps against David Stone and are Mason Thomas. Like,
Good luck with that.
How much better are you going to get going against those guys?
No
you
doubt.
know, and so you have to be really artful in the different periods and manage the reps in accordance. That way, you can still build cohesion, but that way you can develop the individual player as well. And so it's a collaborative effort, just finding the best ways. And honestly, that's really about it.
That's a great answer. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about some of the receivers and preview an Ole Miss defense that, I don't know, maybe Oklahoma might be able to find a few things. That's Ben Arbuckle. You're inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics.
We got one more segment to hang with Ben Arbuckle. That's Gabe Eichert. I'm Chris Plank, and this segment's brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Before we dive into Pete Golding's Ole Miss defense, Coach, I did want to ask about your receivers. And, you know, it's a couple weeks in a row now where you look out there and Isaiah Sategna's just making plays, and a big touchdown catch. Deion Burks, you know, I'll never forget whenever we did our walk and talk when you first got this job, he said, I can't wait to see what I can do with some of these weapons on this field.
Yeah.
We're seeing them play out now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm really proud of that room. You know, the first one that comes to mind is Deion. You know, it's not like he had 120 yards receiving and a touchdown, but the dude had 2 massive third down conversions on scoring drives to keep the chains moving. Like that is winning football to me, and those are as big time of plays as anything. And Isaiah Sategna, just again, he's just really, really consistent. Just always in the right place, always doing the right thing. And again, that builds trust and continuity throughout the whole building and the whole unit. It's good to see Giovanni just, you know, putting in the work that it takes to be a good football player. And just getting back from everything that happened over the last 6 months with him, and just really proud of him. And then someone else like Jermichael Carter, you know, on Torrey Blaylock's first touchdown run, I mean, it was beautiful. It was my favorite play of the entire day. We on Mondays we have a team meeting, and I literally showed one clip. I showed one clip from that entire game, and it was Torrey's first touchdown run where the safety is at linebacker depth, and he cracks the safety, puts him on his butt like 8 yards away, and then Torrey circles the edge and scores. And even on that play, Caden Helms just keeps on straining, ends up pushing his guy into the corner who falls, and the offensive line had great movement. I was like, guys, this is the only play I want to watch because it's the only play that matters. This play right here set the tone for the entire day. But I'm really proud of that receiver room. Their perimeter blocking has been awesome the last 2 weeks, and something that we can still build on. But they just come to work, man.
I know that Burks is a guy that every wide receiver wants a bunch of touches.
Yeah.
But how has he handled maybe not being as productive as he wants to be? Because when I watch him, he's still out there flying around.
Yeah.
He's doing well in the blocking game. Seems like that hasn't discouraged him.
Yeah, he's a great teammate, and I think it speaks a lot to the culture that BV has. Because at the end of the day, we want to win. We want to win. We want to win. And Deion's no different. He wants to win the football game. And, you know, he's just like one example. You know, John Mateer threw for 150 yards. I mean, John Mateer's thrown for over 300 yards plenty of times in his career. He doesn't care one bit. Like, you know, and it's just the culture that BV has in there, and Deion's no different. He's a team guy. He doesn't come in, give me the ball. That's not him. And at the end of the day, it's what can we do to win the game? What can we do to score one more point than the other team? And everyone is lockstep in that mission. And so I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of the teammate he is. And whenever the ball does come his way, he makes plays.
Let's start talking about Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and it's something you just mentioned, score one more point than the other team.
Yep.
Ole Miss brings in a very dynamic offense.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the type of play caller and the success that Lane Kiffin has had and what they've done this year offensively, does that affect your mindset, your approach to this game in any way, knowing, hey, we may have the best defense in the country, but that team's going to make some plays.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily shift my mindset any. Now, depending on how the flow of the game and everything goes, you might have to do one thing more than another. You might have to run more than you throw more than you run. You might have to be a little bit more aggressive in certain conversion down situations. You might have to do that. You might not. But, they do such a great job on offense over there. Their players, they fly around. And so I'm excited to, one, see the challenge that is presented to us as a whole team. I'm excited for that. But I'm really excited to get into the weeds of the game and figure out, okay, this is what it's going to take to win. Let's roll, guys, and get everybody pulling the rope in the same direction on that common goal and common mission, and that's going to be the fun part of it.
What thoughts overall and what you've seen from Ole Miss defensively? What's caught your eye?
Yeah, defensively first, their defensive coordinator does such a great job. He's a veteran in the profession, had a lot of success, and something that's always impressive to me whenever you turn on the tape is guys who play hard and guys who play a lot and guys who know what to do. And, not even just this year, but just looking back, throughout his career, you always see that, and that's really impressive to me. But, their defensive front's really good. They got 3-4 guys that they really, really trust who, carry a lot of the load for them up front, and for good reason. They're big, they're strong, they have a really good motor about them. And then on the back end, they have guys who will go out there and they'll make plays. They will. They'll go out there and they'll make plays. They'll try to be in the right positions at the right times. But, they present a really good, unique challenge that we're going to have to be ready to answer the call to.
This is the first team that we've played this year that I've studied and seen a consistent amount of rushing 3 and dropping 8,
Yep.
kind of just spreading the net in coverage. John Mateer's been very good at just taking what the defense gives him, not putting the ball in harm's way consistently, trying to force things. So how patient is Mateer going to have to be in this matchup, knowing that this is a team that they can get pretty conservative with what they're doing in the back end?
Yeah. Well, I think part of the reason that they do that is they do trust those 3 guys. Whenever they do drop 8, those 3 guys that they have rushing. And so there's a level of patience that has to come with it from the quarterback position, but there's also there's a whole different level of urgency that has to come with it too, because you're right, if they drop guys back, okay, the windows might not be there as long, there might not be as many windows, but you can't stand there and you can't pat the ball either. And so there's a different level of detail and urgency that has to come with it, because the 3 guys they do have rushing are disruptive players in their own right. And so, that's just kind of where I go back to say they put them in positions to be successful. And so you have to be really sharp at the quarterback position. Everybody has to be really, really sharp, but it presents a unique challenge.
You 11 a.m. kickoff guy?
Yeah, why not? I love 11
I like. Hey, let's get up.
Wake up, eat some eggs, eat some bacon, put the ball down, let's roll.
I love it.
You will quickly learn that there's no fan base in the country that brings it for 11 a.m. like Sooner Nation, because dude, we trained for years in the Big 12. How many of these have we done, man? It's so many.
A lot. You get the pregame going early, it's fine. But any adjustment for you when it comes to the prep, or is it just, hey, it's 11 a.m., we roll?
I mean, maybe you might get like one less meeting or one less walkthrough on a Friday or Saturday. But other than that, no, game plan, week of practice, all the same. And so just got to put the ball down and go play.
I like it. It's going to be fun. Hey, I got one more quick thought before I let you get out of here. The challenge between quarterbacks, and you just, I think, hit on most of it, with what Pete Golding does. That's the Ole Miss defensive coordinator. Used to be a guy blitzed all the time. He's dropping 8 a lot more. But the challenge between not wanting to make the YOLO throw and take what's there. I mean, what's that balance like for John? And then obviously you as an offensive coordinator, what you're laying out to him. And then, hey, take what's there. Or, if you wait a second, maybe you're going to get something that breaks.
Yeah, I think it's one, it's situationally and, what's going on in the game. Because there's sometimes there's points in the game where, okay, maybe we got to be a little bit more risky with a throw here or there. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to doing your job and being efficient. If doing your job calls for a corner ball in between cloud coverage or something, okay, you got to make it. All right, but if it also calls for, checking the ball down to the running back, you got to do it. And so you just have to play efficient football, do your job, and that's really how you have success at the quarterback position.
I am not trying to stir the pot here. This is a genuine, serious
All right.
question.
Okay.
When it comes to signals
Yeah.
that you use offensively, how do you make sure that the opponent's not getting a beat on those? I know you've been a big headset communication guy with Mateer, and then he kind of handles a lot of, let's call it the orchestration out there with the receivers. Are you always cognizant of, hey, I got to change my signals, I got to switch it up, I can't let the defense get a feel for what those signals are?
Yeah, I think there's different mechanisms that you can use operationally in game. You keep the same signals, you can change your signals. You can huddle, you can speed huddle, you can play with tempo. I mean, there's a multitude of different things operationally you can do to try and, control that aspect of it. But, I've always just been one that you still got to stop it. Even if you, even if you know, and I mean, I'm not even just speaking in this game, just specifically, at the end of the day, you gotta do things that'll help you be successful, help your team be successful, your players, put them in position while still letting them play fast and free and understand. But at the end of the day, football's still just played between the lines right there. I mean, it comes down to execution and playing hard.
Execution, and as Coach Venable says, whoop the guy in front of you, right? It's
correct.
Comes to the trenches. All right, thanks, Coach. Best of luck on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate y'all. Boomer.
Ben Arbuckle. We got Jay Valai coming up next inside the Coach's
good for
Corner.
y'all.
Stick around.
That's awesome.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
All right, from the offensive side of the football to the defensive side, Jay Valai joins us, cornerbacks, and so much more as we roll on here on Coach's Corner. And this segment's presented by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. Coach, congrats on the win over South Carolina. Long move past it, but what a performance by this defense.
Yeah, defense played well together. Guys' mindsets are right and hungry coming off obviously the loss of Texas. And I think responding and fighting back and staying together and us versus the world mindset is what you got to have here in the SEC. So it was a great win, collectively done, offense and defense. And great head coach they got, my guy Shane Beamer, who's a good friend of mine. But, it was a great win for us.
Now, there are a lot of challenges coming your way the rest of the schedule.
Yeah.
We all know that. But how much fun is it to see all the national rankings and all those ones by OU's defense's name?
It's good, but once again, the tree I've been growing up on, we call that rat poison. So, and so it's good to see it, but you don't want to live off that because, once again, in life, two things happen. You're going to be humble or get humbled. So for us, you got to be, not hungry but malnourished every single day to continue to get better and to grow and to leave your legacy. You get one shot at being Team 131. So, leaving your legacy and having that mindset has got to be everything.
You know what I love when we're watching the highlights on the TV side? On every single one of these plays, it's not just a bunch of guys standing around looking, Coach Valai. It's everyone's running the football, right? Even if they're away from the play. That's got to be encouraging.
We call it in our house looking for work, Like, hey, the house is clean. No, you ain't. You better look for work. So we guys looking for work and being hungry on the football field, and we have 11 guys who are flying to the ball like that and have the same mindset and holding each other accountable too. It's great to have.
You mentioned kind of this defense getting back on track after how the second half of that Texas game went. Do you think this was the reset this group needed against South Carolina?
Yeah, it's always good to reset and go forward. And, I think we played solid in the first half and then, a couple brain farts here and there. And get back to the basics, which I think is the number one thing is tackling. You know, it's football, right? See, run, hit. It's Dr. Seuss hop on pop, right? Just the fundamentally stuff and being brilliant at the basics is what we really got back to. And the thing I love is coaches can talk about leadership, but leadership comes from the locker room, right? It's like the church. Church isn't the buildings, the people, right? So when I remember we got back out to practice, I see Kobe McKenzie and Kip and K5 go out there, and first time we're going against each other or whatever, and they destroy the running back and get him up again and destroy him again. That sets the tone, that sets the precedence going forward. So I think player-led teams lead to, you know, elite defenses every place I've been, whether I was at Bama or Georgia. The guys who take over the locker room and take it in their own hands, not for the coaches to do, that's what makes it great.
I mean, we're going to talk a lot about your guys in your room, but Ben Arbuckle was just in here, and he referred to the week as a violent week of practice that you guys had. And what's that balance like for you? You know, you want your guys to set a tone, but you want to take care of each other too.
Yeah, it's called calluses. You know, get calluses on your hand, be calloused up, be ready to roll. And to me, you can't be violent without practicing violence. You know what I mean? It's like you can't be an MMA fighter, a UFC champion, and not fight. Let me go fight on the night of the event. That ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? And say hi to Mr. Trump, do all that, and win, and then get demolished. That ain't going to happen. So, so for us is, you know, practice habits, game reality, and just what you do on a daily basis truly creates who you are. So I love our guys' mindsets.
Now, we'll talk about the guys in your room, playing at a high level, flying around out there, but how much easier is life for y'all with the way that this defensive line is playing?
Yeah, it's great to have, trust me, that's a DB's best friend's a great D-line, obviously, and those guys, but really seeing their growth has been everything. Like Taylor Wine, seeing him grow as a man and giving his dad a hug every game and seeing his focus, his mindset, and his process every single day coming up, and then G-Baby and the DTs and R Mace and you know, all our DNs and just everybody on that, really that whole front seven has been awesome to be around, you know. And I think Oklahoma is one of the last of a dying breed where guys are really truly a team, you know what I mean? They're not just paid assassins, as is getting to sometimes in college football. These guys truly love each other, hold each other accountable, and they're locked in collectively like that too. So to me, that's what culture really speaks. You know, I mean, you can talk about culture, use all these fancy words, and go up there and talk with your pointer pen and do all this, but you know, if it ain't real through the players, what is it? You know, and the guys do it on a daily basis. But we love having that D line. Dom and Jaden and everybody from inside to out, you know, these guys they're working their tails off. So,
one of the, I think, question marks for this defense coming into the year was who will replace Stutzman and Bowman when it comes to leadership.
That's huge.
100%. What guys have you seen emerge in those leadership roles?
I think
clearly you're playing great defense. So whatever you're doing, the leadership's good.
It's working.
But is there anyone that's kind of stood out to you and has kind of assumed that role?
I think leadership can be articulated and also can be shown. So, you know, you hear guys like Kobe McKenzie, he's a great leader, talks the game, understands the game. He's basically a coach on the field with great athleticism and can still do it. So seeing a guy like Kobe McKenzie do it has been really good. Energy from guys like Kip, our linebackers, K5, Owen, who, you know, that's one of my favorite human beings on this earth, is Owen Heineke, and Sammy. All those guys have been really, really good, but it's been everybody, to be honest with you. You know, Dom does a great job in it, G-Baby, obviously, Grayson, R. Mason with the way he plays and what he does as well, too. But on the back end especially, too, you got, you know, Peyton Bowen. This is the best, and I told Peyton this is the best I've seen him from a leadership standpoint since I've been here. You know, RJ, the same thing. Gent, the same thing. And then even young guys who understand leadership's one thing, but the actions behind it, like Cortland Guillory, every time he comes to a game, he's trying to set a tone, you know what I mean? And he's getting everybody locked in. Like, let's go, you know, blase, I'm not going to use the words he uses. He uses a lot of words sometimes when he gets going, but you love that, you know? So I think from a standpoint, holistic leadership, where it's not just lead on. We were dependent last year. We had dependent leadership last year. We're dependent on two guys. You know, and then this year's more holistic with everybody showing leadership in what they do, which has been really different.
You think for some of the vets, it was a process of seeing that, identifying it? It's like, hey, we've got to have more people step up.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, leadership doesn't mean friends. You know, what I mean, you got to draw a line. I mean,
Right.
Billy Bowman did it all the time. You know, myself, Coach Hall. You know, I'm getting on Billy like, hey, lead him. Billy will draw the line. We're doing tackling drills or whatever. Man, blank that, bring it back. just start screaming it. But the reason he did that is because of how much he loved the game and how great he wanted to be for his team. And same thing with Danny and Ethan. That's when Ethan goes up there, starts doing this. You got to take him this high and choke him out, and that's Ethan's mindset. Having all those guys has been great, and I think guys really learn from them how to be leaders.
We got time to ask about one guy before we got a break.
Yep.
And you mentioned Cortland Guillory, and I want to ask about him. Coach Venables singled him out during the Monday night show and talked about his coverage on a goal line stand.
Yeah.
He referred to it as a drowning man that was trying to fight for air, and just the coverage that he had. He obviously had a rough game against Auburn, but I feel like this is a guy who gets better every time he steps on the field. Can you take us through Cortland's progression?
100%. He's a young guy from Texas, from Houston, and his growth and potential and his mindset is what really has gotten him better and better and better throughout. He's a physical kid. He wants to be great. He's working his tail off. And literally, he fights like his career and his dreams are getting drowned every single day. So that's why you love him playing with so much emotion with everything he does. And like I said, the anger he plays with it's really, really good. He had a couple plays versus Texas, which if you go back and see, like he's throwing the receiver down their sideline and looking at him and staring at him, and just like you love that kind of stuff, right? So kid like that, who I don't treat as a kid, he's a grown man, he's a leader, and he's one of the starters on this defense. So he's going to keep trending up like he's been doing.
He's how I like my corners. Long and loud.
Long and loud. That's a good answer. I like that.
That's one that I thought you would have already come up with.
Yeah, long and loud.
He can play, man. He's going to be a heck of a player.
He's going to be a great player down the line too. But he's not waiting to be great. He wants to go attack it now too. So, if you sit around and wait for something to happen, usually somebody comes and takes your dream from you. So for him, he wants to go attack it now, which I love.
Quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Ole Miss offense. You're inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind with Jay Valai.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
All right, our final segment with Jay Valai is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Lane Kiffin, Trinidad Chambliss,
yes.
Kid out of Ferris State.
Great name.
Great name.
What a name, right?
That's a name.
The dude can play, but let's just start with the name.
Yeah, the name is really good.
It's
The
awesome.
visor, the name, the speed, the arm, the kid can play.
He does everything. I think he's really good COD. Sees down the field. He's a true pocket passer, but he can get out the pocket and move around. His eyes are always down the field. You always got to be alert on that too. He does good to drop back in the RPO game, which is huge for him as well too. But the offense revolves around him. He is the starting point, and Lacey, the running back's really good as well too. Mm-hmm. And he's from Dallas too, Lancaster. Manny Choice's teammate in high school. And, they got a good, awesome system. And Kip's always been like that, whether I was at Bama and we played him to now. Kiffin runs a great offense. So,
biggest challenge whenever you're going against tempo? What's kind of the biggest challenge for you guys? As
DYJ, get lined up, get your cleats in the ground. Get your cleats in the ground, get lined up, do your job, and just see your keys, trust your keys. Don't play out of fear, trust your keys. See little, see a lot, and always go through, which I always talk about, your CAS call, your call alignment, stance, key responsibility, and that will take you from point A to point B in playing fast football. But when teams try to get you off kilter by tempo, they're really trying to destroy your equilibrium of your process, right? No matter, stay true to your process. You stay true to your process, you can play fast football, attack the ball, get TFLs, get picks, all the above.
This feels, to me, like an opportunity for you guys to prove that you're the best defense in the country. And now you're already in that conversation. You talk to anyone that knows ball, Oklahoma's in that conversation. How do you make sure that the guys on this defense, like they don't get caught up in that, and it's snap by snap, it's do what you've trained to do?
To me, it's almost going back to human nature. The way you get caught up, you start looking ahead instead of what's in front of you, making it personal. To me, make every play personal. Don't look at what's going down in the future. We could be the greatest defense. None of that matters. It's me versus that guy, man on man, do my job, who's going to win. If you make it personal, every single thing you do on that football field is almost a personal vendetta to prove your point of who you are, and just represents the front of your jersey is important, but the back of the name of the jersey is just important too. And make sure you understand who you are within the game. That's everything to me. So I think that's how you don't look ahead and you see what's right in front of you. And let everybody talk at the end of the season where we end up. But right now it's just mano a mano, do my job, protect my brothers, and go attack.
And I know there's that constant battle because these conversations are everywhere in our social media era. But it seems like this squad as a whole, and maybe more specifically defensively, they do a pretty good job of shutting that out. They don't let the outside noise get in too much, do they?
No. I think the biggest thing is staying humble. We all know it too, because the worst thing is everybody hype you up and then you get destroyed. And that's the worst.
It's not what you're looking for, Coach.
That is not it. What is not it? Jeopardy, ding, ding, right? But for us, I think not working out of fear, but working out of the mindset of I want to be elite, I want to be great, but it's a daily process. So if it's a daily process, it's a daily play when you get on the football field on Saturday. So to me, it's easy not to look ahead if you just don't fall in love with social media. They'll be the first ones to pat you on the back and then put a foot in your you-know-what too. Yep. So it just is what it is. It comes with the territory you play in, you know what I mean? So to me, it's just what can I do to be remembered on Saturday? Well, how do you leave your legacy, not for your career, how do you leave your legacy on Saturday? And that's what I was talking to my guys about. So.
Now, stopping Kewan Lacey in that run game will be making them one-dimensional, or as one-dimensional as you possibly can make them. 100%. It will be a huge key to the game, but this Saturday is going to be a big challenge for your guys.
Oh, yeah.
This is an offense that has a really, really good wide receiver core and a quarterback and an offense that is designed to push the ball down the field.
100%.
How important is it going to be for your guys to play with great technique, find the ball, all the things we 100%. Hear about, especially at the corner spot?
Yeah, attack the ball. But once again, if you're in the run fit, show up.
No doubt.
Because once again, you're a football player, you're not a cover guy. You know what I mean? Show up, do your job, play physical. And the biggest thing is get lined up, like you guys talked about earlier, with the tempo and the adjustments and the motions and the shifts. How much can you articulate? And a loud defense is always going to be a great defense, right? You've never heard a quiet defense is a good defense. They're usually, if they're quiet, they don't know what the hell's going on most of the time. So
quiet on defense is not good.
It's nuts.
Not good.
Either they're horrible or they're maybe psychotic because they're that good. Like, imagine sorry about defense just doing this. Like, okay, they could be really good. I don't know about that guy. He's been acquitted a couple times or something, but yeah, you always want to be a loud defense, and it's going to be fun, man. When you see challenges like that, you want to go attack the challenges, and to me, it's a great opportunity. You know, challenges are opportunity. So,
I have to assume that it didn't take your guys long in the film room watching some of these clips to be like, okay,
yeah,
it's a big week for us. So how have you seen them embrace the challenge that's coming Saturday?
Yeah, it's the SEC. It's next week's the next challenge, right? So for us, we know they have a great receiving core. They got a great run game. They got a great Q run game. They do a little bit of everything. So once again, being accountable, doing your job, but attack the ball. You know, the whole thing is you want to be defensively obsessive for the ball as much as you possibly can. Because once again, turnover margin is everything as well too. So it's not just getting your hand on the ball, it's taking the rock. I think turnovers are going to be huge this game. You know, with a great offense like this that pushes the ball down the field, what makes it hurt is getting the ball back or turnover possessions on if they go for a fourth down. So fourth down defense will be huge as well too, because ever since, like I said, first time I'm playing Coach Kiffin to now, you know, you're going to go for on fourth down. So it's just, you got to be good on all four downs. It ain't just three and punt. That ain't the usual. So, you know, I think being alert and understanding that and the change of tempo is just as important as anything else, you know, whether it's a speed break out the huddle or whether it's tempo, hard count, reset, okay, now it's a fake, what are you doing? Just big picture, understanding everything and just being locked in.
All right, I want to ask about a couple of your guys before I let you get out of here. Good to see Eli Bowen back.
Oh, yeah.
I think the last time we were on with this, the line was, the footwork, everything looks like it's supposed to look.
No, I believe I think it was 5 varies, right? He's very close to coming back.
Yeah, and now he's back, and just kind of take us through how you've seen him perform.
He's been really solid so far too, man. I mean, you got to remember this kid didn't play ball for 7 months, and he's been really solid and good technique as always, and just getting locked in and dolled up. But as the season progresses, he's gonna get better and better. So that's just for me getting him back from point A to point B to exactly what he was before. It's been the biggest thing, actually better than he was before. So he's excited to go prove himself and come up and make some plays and show who he is. So
seems like, and We'll see what happens with Gentry
Yep.
in that shoulder. We're all hoping for the best.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like Jacoby Johnson is going to have a bigger role with some of these guys being out. What have you seen from Jacoby's development through the first half of the season?
To me, it's been really the last 2 weeks, the practice, and when you see guys make plays in practice and start trusting the technique, I can tell them before the game they're going to have a good game. Like, it. Like, I remember C.J. Colton a couple of years ago. C.J. Colton was our 4th string corner, and I'm watching for 3 straight weeks. I'm like, okay, this guy by the end of the season is going to be one of our best players on defense, and he had 5 picks. And the progression for Jacoby has been getting better every single day. Don't look at the big picture. Once again, minute, every day, how do I get better, continue to be better? And he's been doing that. And Day-Day Jordan's been really good doing that as well, too. I think Day-Day, coverage-wise, I mean, he was like, I don't remember a play last week anybody was open versus him. So sometimes, and the ball doesn't come his way, but it ain't even when the ball comes his way, you're just watching them out throughout and filtering that mindset and seeing it. And those guys will be more than ready to play. And once again, whoever steps on that football field, let's go attack the ball. Ball's coming. Ball's always coming.
You're the best. Thanks, Jay. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate y'all, man.
That's Jay Valai, corners, and so much more when it comes to that Sooner defense. We'll put a wrap on Coach's Corner. Get you ready for Ole Miss next. Stick around.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Coach's Corner is brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
What a fun show. I mean, from Coach Buck, Ben Arbuckle, to Jay Valai, and I think we're ready for Ole Miss. So as we kick off our final segment, brought to you by Warren Catt, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics. Gabe Ikard, what do you say we break down the Ole Miss Rebs? What have you seen?
It's a huge game. I think for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of these teams view themselves as college football playoff caliber teams, and both teams have to have this one if you want to make the college football playoff. And Ole Miss is really good.
Yeah.
Now, I think they've taken a considerable step back defensively compared to what they were a year ago. And I think they're similarly dynamic to what they were a year ago when Jackson Dart was leading that offense for the Rebels. I think the key is OU's offense. If we can put together a game plan that maximizes our guys' strengths like I thought we did against South Carolina, I think this is a game at home that the Sooners should win. And I think the crowd is going to have a very large impact on the game. And it could come down to things that a lot of people don't like for it to come down to sometimes. Field goal kicking and field position, Plank.
Oh, boy. Our opponent preview brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan field, athlete focused. For Gabe Ikard, I'm Chris Plank. We'll see you at the Palace on Saturday. And until next week, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
This has been the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.